Today we will talk about emotional freedom. And emotional freedom is something that we throw around a little bit sometimes here at Living with the Spirit, but it's something that we cherish very deeply, and it is a northern star for us in our work. So today we will deep dive into emotional freedom and what is this. So yeah, we will. It will be a little bit of a longer talk. So yeah, let's deep dive.
Yeah, definitely. I really look forward to this. This is one of my favorite topics myself. And there's a lot to be said about emotional freedom, but I think you really started off with a strong statement there. It's like our northern star. It's like if you imagine emotions is like life is the ocean, right? And we're sitting in a boat, and the different weathers are emotions, right? We'll be kind of thrown around and different things will happen. But the northern star is just like our ancestors. They had somewhere, they didn't know where to go. And that's what we mean with the northern star. That's it's about having clarity and being able to move forward definitely in life.
Yeah. So before we deep dive into emotional freedom, we will just very shortly explain why that is so important to us, and what we do. So living with the Spirit means finding the connection to your inner guide, to your spirit. Some people call it God, some people call it universe. It can be the connection to your own intuition. It has different words for different people, and we don't put any judgment in what that is, but we believe that you have all the answers inside of you yourself. So we help you find that connection and find that way of living with your spirit. So that is what we do.
Definitely.
That's why we have that name.
And just like Sarah said, it can be big esoteric thing that drive you forward, or it can be a gut feeling, a hunch, like no, just don't want to do that. The name doesn't matter. It's just finding something that is true, you're aligning with, that drives you forward.
So, what do we mean by emotional freedom? What would you say that we mean when we say emotional freedom? What does that mean?
I was kind of going back to that. I like that analogy of being able to ride the tides of life no matter what happens. But it's not that we're not going to have emotions. Emotions are there, right? But it is about not identifying yourself with the emotion. It's not like I am angry. No, I'm feeling angry. That you notice it's an energy passing through you that helps you to talk in social constellation with other people or with yourself, that drives you towards comfort or away from discomfort and harm. So when you have emotional freedom, we can feel more joy and happiness, which is the natural state of being, at least according to us. And we can kind of take away those layers that doesn't keep us happy and joyful and free, and living our purpose, and just enjoying life, right? Not just doing chores all the time or feeling that everything is heavy and hard to do.
Yeah. Emotional freedom for me is to learn how my body works, how my past experiences has um, influenced the way I am right now, and learning about how my physical condition can influence my emotions. So the physical, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and like the mental, how it all comes together, and how it has influenced how why am I the way I am, and what can I change. Like I have all the power to change my emotional state. That is my, it's like emotional freedom for me is that I have the power to change my emotional state, and that I don't have to be angry, I don't have to be sad, I don't have to be any of the things I don't want to, and that I have the ability to influence that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and navigating emotions is definitely what you say. You know, you start to learn like, how do I work? How does emotion work? What's the different expressions of it? Many times working with people, they're not aware that that is an emotion. They're like, oh, this is the way I am. I am this way, or I always done this, and it might just be a pattern or behavior that we have because we're feeling something certain.
Yeah.
So befriending the system is a big key to really figuring out and knowing kind of what's going on, or having a hunch, getting to know yourself so you actually know what to do about
Yeah. And our philosophy here at Living with the Spirit is like based on the foundation that the body is a natural healer, and that we can heal from almost anything, is if it hasn't gone too far. Um, and that is how that's how we treat everything, basically. Like, it's about the body returning into balance, and because we got out of balance, and we just need to realign. And when we do that, magical things happen. And that's what we have decided to do for ourselves, and that's what we offer to others with.
it.
I mean, the results, the people we work with, um, yeah, they're,
Speaks for itself.
yes, it speaks for itself.
Definitely.
So that's why we use all the non-invasive holistic methods, and we combine like Western science and Eastern, like Oriental styles of healing, and that's why
Yeah.
we're in Asia also. So we combine these two, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very comprehensive way of working under the umbrella of holistic healing. That we just don't have one tool solution and
Yeah.
one quick fix for everything. That there's different philosophies, different ways of life, different practices that might constitute your personal structure, or how you're built up, and what you believe in, and what feels right for you. And that's why we have a lot of different philosophies, but they weave together quite nice and neatly, right? And there's something there for everyone. That's essentially what we want to say. There is something there for everyone, regardless where you're coming from, and background, and belief system, and so on.
Yeah. So now today we will talk a little bit about the pillars that we use to reach the emotional freedom, and the actual things that we work with.
Mm.
And it's like what we do and why. And yeah, so one of the first things that we and the main things that we work with is the detoxification, because the food and the impact of the food that we have been eating all our lives, yeah, it has a huge impact on the physical body. And the connection to the emotions are very, very strong. And so what happens with so the environment in the physical body is supposed to be in balance. Well, everything is supposed to be in balance, but so we have acidity and so acid and alkaline, and we're supposed to be harmonious in the middle. And when we are an unhealthy lifestyle or too much acidic lifestyle will create an acidic environment in the body. And when that happens, the vitality of the organs and the different tissues and glands and all of it will go down. And when that goes down, it will affect our emotional ability or emotional well-being a lot. So if the kidneys aren't filtering, if the liver is working too hard, if I mean, like me, I had low thyroid, that affected my well-being like tremendously, in my emotional well-being. So we use the detoxification for cellular regeneration, so the body can start to heal itself, and like redirect the energy, that the surplus of energy that is available for the body during the detox. It will send it straight to cellular regeneration. So there's millions of cells in the body that is its only use is to heal the cells. So when we give the whole digestion system a rest from the non-existing food, so we use juices or fruits or raw foods instead, then all that extra energy will go to self-healing, and that's amazing. uh, but that's a different story, but that's why we use it. And we also use it to release emotional blockages, or be able to access unfinished emotions or stress responses in the body. Because when we remove the food, um, we how to explain what happens in the, you always say it so well.
So there is a relationship between food and
Yes.
what you actually need to eat and what you believe you need to eat, right? And what usually happens, the way a lot of us eat, is we learn to eat socially. We learn to eat, at least where I grew up in Sweden, right? If you're sad, here's an ice cream. If you're sick, eat this, eat sugar. It's kind of like eating has become like a mindset or a mentality that we're eating. Oh, if I don't eat every 3 4 hours, I can, there's a lot of belief system that goes into eating that can enable us to not actually listen to the body and eat when we're hungry. So what happens when you do the detox is, maybe this is what you need energy level wise, and what you're eating normally is at this level. So we're taking away the surplus, and when you take away the surplus, all those hidden issues or aspects, like maybe you're anxious and that's why you're eating, and maybe you're not hungry but you're just eating because it's very grounding. Once we start to remove that layer, whatever underneath, whatever's unresolved, like Sarah said, unresolved stress responses, all of that would kind of start to flare up a little bit. So there's a saying like, oh, I get cranky if I don't eat every 3 and 4 hours. And I'll like to challenge that, say you probably have some crankiness that's not been resolved yet, and when you don't eat, it comes up.
Yeah, it comes to the surface. So the detox is an amazing tool to allow things that is unprocessed to come to the surface. So that is also one of the. So we will mention some of the reasons why we use these tools, but it's not all of them. So we just go briefly through the main reasons why we use it. And also when it comes to, so when all the unresolved emotional stuff starts to come to the surface with the detox, then it will also become very, very clear what your limiting beliefs are. And I can't do this because, or, so it's very easy for us to notice the story that people are telling themselves, and this goes for us too.
Yeah.
I mean, we do this work ourselves. All of the things that we talk about is something that we use for ourselves and for our own healing.
Yeah.
And we both know that the belief systems, they are a big deal. And
Self-talk, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, like, not to go into solution, but just to give you an example of what we might talk about. When someone shifts and start to do a detox here, ourselves included, we'll start to notice certain words pop up.
Yeah.
I have to, I must, I cannot, oh, this will happen. That's what we believe. I'm not saying it won't happen, but that's the belief, right? That is the belief that leads us into the system in the first place. And that can be related to emotional eating, that we're eating to ground our emotional unrestfulness rather than eating because we're hungry and we want to nurture the body. So it's about learning about the food relationship and really getting to know yourself. What is it that what's actually going on underneath
the
everything?
detox is a main deep dive into your own, like, to yourself. It's, I mean, we have to continue, but this is that's why it's one of the main tools, because you will learn so much about yourself. So much.
Definitely.
It's a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey.
For sure.
Most people that come here and do a detox, they just go, oh my God. So that's one. That was the first one. The other one is the breath. We're using the breath to heal ourselves. And you call it the breath of life.
Mhm.
And I would say that the breath is the main body, mind, spirit connector. It's like a universal gift that we have. Most people don't even understand how powerful it is. Breath of
Yeah.
life.
I mean, every cell, every process in the human body needs oxygen or needs energy, not necessarily oxygen, but it needs energy. And energy usually comes in either from what you eat, what you drink, sunlight that comes on you. But the breath is a main thing because all processes need that kind of energy that we get from the inhaled energy rich air. It goes into our nose, down our lungs, and separates out to all the arteries and blood vessels in the body. And the breath of life is actually, it's a little bit esoteric, but it's something that's used a lot in craniosacral therapy. And it's essentially that the whole body fills up with air, fills up with energy in an inhalation. And as you exhale, kind of that energy leaves the body. It's like in and out, like lungs or like a mantle, like waves, right? That you can feel life coming in and out of you. And to make it a little bit more tangible, less esoteric, it has a main aspect to do with your nervous system because it's the one system, it's the one function in the body that's connected to your automated nervous system. Like I can't just sit there and say like, yeah, heart, please start pounding, and it will go like, yeah, whatever. You don't control me like that. It's automatic, the autonomic nervous system. But we also have the voluntary nervous system that can do all the gesticulations, talk to you, have this kind of recording. And the breathing is the only system in the body that is working with both of those aspects. So indirectly, when you start working with your breathing, you can actually start to work with something that you actually don't have control of voluntarily, right? I can't think, I stop my heart. But when I start to regulate my breathing, the heart level will follow the breathing. So that's why, like you mentioned, it is a main tool because you can start to control or regulate, better word than control, regulate all the aspects, every cell of your body with the breath. So it is truly an amazing tool. And just like the detox, when we do breath work, things that we kind of suppress consciously that we might not be aware of, they disappear because we don't have that extra layer of energy to go around and think and analyze because we're focusing on the breathing. And we can wind up sometimes in kind of like a little bit like survival states, and that will push us a little bit out of the comfort zone. And then we can see what's underneath, what's really there stirring underneath that makes us not able to do a change or holding on to old beliefs, or like the breathwork teacher says, a new relationship with a different face, that we repeat
Yeah,
patterns,
we
right?
repeat pattern, but that's the stress and the trauma and stuff. But it's all connected, so that's why it's called holistic, right?
Yeah.
So we use the breath, as Simba said. There's so many ways to use the breath. So there is the breathing in your everyday life, like working and actually changing your breathing patterns in your whole life, because that will make a massive difference. And that is one way. And the other way is to use it for specific practices to achieve different results. So it's so amazing. Breath work is like a collective name for, I don't even know how many different breathing practices there are, but they are all specific, and they work for different things. And that is what's so amazing. And you can use the breathing to calm the nervous system down, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And the next thing we will talk about is grounding, and why that is so important, because the grounding is just so connected to our well-being and our emotional freedom. And with the breathing, we can help the body to activate the self-healing mechanisms that is connected to the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. If we are in the fight or flight all the time, then the self-healing is not active. So using specific techniques to activate that, but also to access the unfinished stress responses, to access unprocessed memories and emotions that are in the nervous system from the past that is affecting us, and it's like weighing us down, making us stagnant. And it's all connected to our belief systems and the habits and the choices and the coping mechanisms that we all have. So we use that to to access and to eventually release.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that kind of leads us right into the grounding pillar, right? And the grounding pillar, just like Sarah mentioned, if you look at modern society today, most things are there to put us out of balance. And if there's a reason to that or not, that doesn't really matter. It's something that happens. If you look at commercial, news, everything, it's kind of almost falling at you, bombarding you, right? So it kind of gets you a little bit out of balance. And with that many different aspects going on in life, thoughts, belief systems, what I think I have to do, what someone else expects of me, the capacity, resources I believe I have, and the demands that I believe my environment or my work or my relationship or my family puts on me, what they expect me to do or what I'm expected to do, can create a lot of stress. We don't think we have resources enough. So what the grounding does, like Sarah says, it works with the autonomic nervous system. So it has to do with safety, right? The autonomic nervous system is a system designed that helps us to see if we're safe or not, but it also helps us to communicate with people, to show affection, to smile, have different emotions. I'm sad, I'm angry. It's communication, both externally, person to person, interpersonally, but it's also communication to the body to stay alive, right? That something is dangerous, perceived as dangerous. What the grounding does is actually teach us to be present, even if we might feel activated about something. And like Sarah mentioned, traumas is events, can be big events or smaller events that happen repetitively. That kind of leaves like a stored memory in the nervous system, in the cells, that can infiltrate the present moment. So to make that crystal clear, something happens in your environment and you react a certain way, but another person that's next to you don't react that way because they might not have the same experience. So that old experience is coming in and affecting how you're feeling now, but someone else that doesn't have that experience might not react in the same way. So it might be like an old memory that affects how you go about it. And that kind of ties into the emotional freedom community. Once we start to clear that energy out and allow the body to let go of that stress response and that old memory, then the body can go from the sympathetic, like the activated fight or flight system, down into the calmer parts of the parasympathetic nervous system, and digestion works better. We can use our brain differently. We don't use the inner centers of our brain, which is more instinctual and survival. We can actually start to use the higher centers and just find solutions and creativity and compassion. And we feel safe. We feel happy. We get to know each other, ourselves and others on a deeper level.
Yeah, so one thing that we talk a lot about in this pillar is the polyvagal curve, and befriending one's own nervous system, and really learning what the different states entail and how they affect me, and where am I on the scale, and starting to notice different shifts and sign and realize that we live out of the nervous system, and just making making insights, realize that, okay, maybe I'm it's nothing wrong with me that I feel angry all the time. My nervous system is just very, very activated. And realizing that working on the grounding is key, both for the emotional freedom and the well-being, but also because when the nervous system is activated all the time, the body is not in balance and the self-healing mechanisms are not activated. So, I mean, that's a little bit what you touched upon, but that's like the simple equation like activation equals low emotional freedom and low self-healing. So that's why turn on activation,
Yeah.
breathing, and many different things. But just learning how that works is, from my perspective, one of the bigger insights that people that we work with, the one of the bigger revelations that can happen.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
There's
you.
nothing
You're
wrong with you.
responding to something because this is where your nervous system is at.
Yeah.
And when you start to see that and what that practically means for you, behaviors and patterns, that gives you a chance between something triggering you and your response. You grow a space between someone says something, something happens, and you can actually see what happens in your body and you can choose how to respond. They're not just clamped and
Yeah.
someone has a certain voice and you just go, whoop, that's not safe. I don't
Yeah.
like that. Sounds like my uncle, didn't like him, whatever the story is, right?
Most often there's not even a mental story. It's just the reaction.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So learning that with the grounding, and learning how to using the nervous system and like co-regulating with others, and then how to self-regulate yourself, and that's the end goal.
Yeah.
And so the next one is energy work.
And that's also one thing that we can make very esoteric. And as I started working with energy work a couple of years ago, it was kind of in the woo-woo zone. People saying, "Oh, that's just intangible, and you can't really touch it, and that's nice. It's placebo." And I'm not going to be here arguing what's what. When we say energy work, it kind of has to do with three main pillars, I would say, to make it simple. It has to do with intention. The intention that you put into a goal, a dream, your life work, your life purpose. It's kind of like an energetical blueprint for what you want to manifest or go towards, or what you find is a purpose in life, right? The attention that you place on your intention, what you actually want, that energizes it, right? So many times when people come in and we work with them, they say, "Oh, I'm so tired, and this is going on in my life, and I tried everything, and I don't know if you can help me or not, but I don't know, but I'll just try. I heard something," uh, kind of that story. A lot of times it's because the attention is going to everything you don't want to, and that means all your mental energy, resources, everything in your body is going manifesting what you don't want, because that's what you focus on. That becomes your intention, and your attention goes there. So it's like, can't remember who said it. Said worrying is like praying for the things you don't want to happen in life, right? It's like you're actually trying to manifest the things you don't want to happen in the future that you're afraid of. So that's why we said intention is really have a clear vision of what that looks for, like in your life. The attention energizes it, right? The actions you do to start manifesting it in the lifestyle. And then your favorite topic, the social navigation.
Yeah, I work a lot with that with people. It's like you have a bag of energy. Like, this is my energy, the amount of energy I have. So, and how do I distribute it? And it's the social navigation. Is like, how do I navigate the social construct that is my life, and still have money or energy in the bank? And it's like saving enough for myself so I can do what I want to do, I can accomplish what I want to do, and learning and realizing all of the places where we spend energy that we don't really have, or that is not contributing to any emotional freedom at all. It might even be that it's draining your energy. And that is also, since I have a lot of experience with stress, it's like identifying and navigating your lifestyle to be able to maneuver around the things that is not very beneficial for you, and seeing your own patterns. Like, what am I doing? Where am I spending my energy? Is it relationships? Is it work? Is it where is it? Is it bad habits? What am I doing?
Yeah, it's like a physical and mental, emotional, spiritual budget.
Yeah.
Where am I spending my
Yes.
energy, and
Yes.
where is the energy coming in?
Yes. Do I get anything in return? Basically.
Does this align with my intention,
Yes.
what I want to do?
Yeah.
And why, if not, why I place so much attention in it?
Yeah. And then that leads into unresolved stress responses, unresolved trauma, and all of that. So that's like why I know I'm not doing. I know that this is not good for me. Why am I doing it? And then there's something there. Yes. The next one is meditation. I mean, almost like it's self-explanatory nowadays. People know why it's so good, but the main reasons we work with it is to, or from is to, as when you start meditating, you instantly activate the parasympathetic nervous system, like instantly. So, and since grounding and that the physical healing is so super important, then that is like one of the absolute main tools to use for grounding and just to slow things down. And also, meditation is one of the tools that we use for awareness expansion and to getting to know yourself, because all this work with the emotional freedom is an inner journey, and it's about discovering yourself, discovering who you are, how it all ties together, and that is made on the inside and not on the outside. So it's about returning to self and spending time with yourself, and just to go inside and see what's going on, and from there expand your awareness so you can grow, like just expand yourself, your being, however far you want to go.
Yeah.
But it's like you can use it as a super spiritual tool, go deep into energy work and all the esoteric stuff, or you can use it as a very practical, this will heal my body, this will heal my stress. So it's like it fits in the whole aspect of like from Western science to super spiritual. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with, specifically for Westerners coming from the West, I would say, is there is a lot of emphasis on the ego mind and the thinking mind, and premises about how smart you are, intellectual you are, what you can create with your mind. And there's different ways of describing the mind, the ego mind or your higher center of your mind, that is not necessarily the story that's talking in the head all the time. So a simple way of looking at meditation is starting to see the space between inhalation and exhalations, or between exhalations and inhalations, where one thought ends and the next one begins, where one emotional response ends and the next one begins. So it's a moment where, like Sarah said, you actually get to observe yourself. No judgment, no talking, no interference. You're giving yourself the space and time to integrate and to navigate. It's a journey within, and you can go, as Sarah said as well, very esoteric, or you can just go there. Wow, it's just a space between my thoughts. And as you start to have less activity in the mind, every cell of the body will respond. You will physically create more space in your body, which relaxes your body, not just the nervous system. Organs work better. Everything will just become better, more spacious, and more joyful, more happy.
I mean, we could talk for days about the meditation, but I just want to finish off with the importance of silencing the mind and stopping that inner critic. And because, as Simba said, the amount of impact that the thoughts have on each and every cell in the body is monumental. And having this non-stop energy draining, infiltrating critic that doesn't make anyone happy. I mean, it's scientifically proven that 90 or 95% of all thoughts are either negative or repetitive. So it's like, I think, yeah, someone said once, like, if you would have a friend that would act that way, you would never hang out with them, but you allow yourself to talk to yourself and to about others and stuff that is just super negative. So calming that down and replacing that with the silence, where happiness, vitality, and creativity will just spring from, is massive for emotional freedom.
And that leads us to the movement, or moving, and not movement as a political movement. We're talking about physical movements, inside of the body, energies, blood circulation, coming into muscles, coming out of muscles, air in, working with the cardiovascular system. So the movement is key to life, right? There is a Chinese proverb, many of them, and I usually paraphrase them because I'm not good at remembering exact the phrase. But it has to do with, you're never older than your spine feels. The happier your spine are, the more flexible your spine are, or more aligned and balanced, that it's strong and that it can move in different angles. That would translate into your whole movement pattern. And the way you move is not just, oh, it's good for your muscles, it's good for your cardiovascular system. It's actually working your brain as well. When you're crossing something across to the other side, we're crossing the hemisphere. So it's actually working with the brain, with every cell of the body. So it's not just physical exercise, going to the gym, or, having a exercise regime, punitive because I want to look good or that's good to do. It's about finding the joy in movement. Just like when you're a kid, the way kids learn and explore the world is through the senses. What I see, what I hear, what I can taste, what I can feel, I can smell. So it's about being creative and playful and using the body as a vessel to express that. And that can heal all the injuries, strengthen the body so the body feels strong, so the mind has more energy. And in my old workplace, we were working a lot with this in corporate environments. And in Sweden, they did a study of the 100 major companies. And they were losing, I can't remember exact number, but they were losing about 30% of the day in efficiency from the workers, directly related to lack of cardiovascular capacity. Now, to translate that, instead of having a lot of terms, they got out of breath, more or less, from thinking, sitting, and working. Not that you sit and pant like you're running, like, but the body could not sustain the activity of working because the cardiovascular system, the way you breathe, your lungs, your heart, wasn't strong enough to sustain the activity and the energy required, mental energy, to sustain activity. So the cardiovascular system actually made the companies lose money because the employers could not work a full workday without spacing out or starting to do something else due to lack of cardiovascular capacity.
I mean, there's been many studies. I mean, we're not going to dive into this, but there's been many studies done in connection with the e-gaming, like e-sport, that the health of the athlete, that they are actually called athletes because the impact of the activation of the nervous system that is created during the gaming is so heavily connected to the like the health state of the physical body, and the cardiovascular abilities and the strength. So yeah,
long story short, it's I'm not talking about strong body in terms of big muscles and ego and image and such. I'm talking about strong body. You're able to do what you want to do.
Healthy body.
Healthy, vital body. That you have energy to do and manifest what you want to do physically.
Yeah.
So if you have a healthy, strong body, it's a lot easier with any aspects of your life. And if you manage to find a way to get a healthy, strong body in a way that you find is funny and a bit strenuous, that's essentially what we want to go with the movement pillar, finding ways for you that's beneficial, healing old injuries, strengthen yourself, self-esteem, being able to work a full day, not being drained after work and you come home and you just have to lie down because that took all your energy, that you still have energy left to do the things you want to do and enjoy life, right?
And the last thing I want to say about the movement is that it's also the natural happy pill of the body. It's like the natural antidepressant, because there's so many. It's like in the same way there's a cocktail of hormones and stuff that is created during when the fight or flight nervous system is activated. The same thing with physical movement, that is like the serotonins and the dopamines and like the reward systems, like all goes like ding 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 when we exercise. So it's heavily connected to the emotional freedom and having the strong physical body and being vital enough to move and express yourself, on top of the actual feeling that is created in the physical body when we move. And also we use it as when something that it's other people call it that as well, but the issue is in the tissue, and when we move we feel, where do I hurt, where am I stiff, where is something going on. So here at the farm we use movement as a way to go into the body and to connect with the body and to listen to the body and see, okay, what is going on here? Because the unfinished stress responses, the emotional unprocessed traumas and stress and stuff is located in the tissue, in the fluids in the tissue, and they are stuck there because we don't want to go there. And then, long story short, it goes as far as pains and stiffness and stuff like that, and it's also acidity, and it's it's a lot going on. But using movement to locate where do I need to work, what do I need to do, and tuning into that. And then there's many modalities that we use that can go into whatever treasure is hiding in there.
Yeah, restoring balance, essentially.
Yeah, restoring balance.
And one pillar more.
Yes, the self-care. And self-care is very much connected with self-love, taking care of oneself, being kind to oneself, exploring what does self-love mean to me, and how can I put myself first. What do I need to do for me? And one of the big things, apart from working with the self-love, is what do I need to do for myself every day to feel good, to live the life that I want to do. The personal practice is one of the main keys to achieving all of the things that we are talking about. So what do I actually do, and how do I implement it in my life? That is super important and super big in this pillar.
Yeah, and definitely it's the self-care is kind of like do less, have more, right? Less is more. A lot of the times we talk about self-development, self-improvement, working through traumas, emotions, any kind of mental, physical, intuitive journey, or whatever kind of journey it is to get somewhere where you don't feel you're at. A lot of times we think like, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do that and I have to do that. And this pillar is actually to really gear back and like, what do I need? Like, you're watching this video right now, what do you need in this instance? Not $1 million. What can you give yourself right now that will make you feel better? So it can be simple as questions like that to really gear down and go like, wow, I maybe need to just lie down a minute, or have a hot cup of tea, or I don't know, watch a funny clip on YouTube so I laugh a little bit and think life is funny, or whatever it is. Self-care is filling yourself up, something that fuels you, recharge your batteries. And there's countless activities and practices that we have that incorporates that, but it's one of the main pillars that we like to have in our program and address, because a lot of times we do something for someone else, or we do something because we want something from someone else, but self-care is really about what do I need for me to feel good for me, not to display something for someone else. What do I want for me to raise my spirit, my vitality, and so on.
Yeah, so what do we do that you can benefit from? So this is these are the main tools, or not tools, but the main pillars that we work with to achieve the emotional freedom. So we have devoted all our whole life to this. This is what we do. This is why we live in our workplace, and this is why we invite people to our lifestyle. So our main reason, this is our purpose. This is our purpose in life, to learn these things and to help others, to self-empower others, and to teach people how to self-heal with these pillars and more. But these are just to find some sort of structure in, because there's so much. And what we have tried to do is to make it easy for you to see what we offer and how we can support you on your journey to emotional freedom. And if you are interested and want to learn more, and you can ignite your journey through all of our different free materials. We have a podcast. We have these live recordings and a podcast. We have our YouTube channel. We have on our website, you can download like a transformation start kit with a recipe book and some information about kidneys. And we will also put this masterclass there, and also a guided breathing meditation. So you have some small hints of where to get started, and if you want to just learn a little bit more about what is it that we talk about. And yeah, we also have a Facebook group that you can join. You can find all of that information on the website. And we also launched the Emotional Freedom Community. So Simba and I decided to launch an online program so we can work with people who are not able to come to the farm, and that are interested in this kind of topics, but not fully ready to emerge on their own journey, but to learn more and to do it a little bit like self-paced, but not too intense. And that is a weekly group where we will have seminars. I call it Sarah and Simba TV, where we deep dive in the different pillars that we just talked about and go deeper. And because it's so much about learning. It's about learning and realizing that you have all the strength and all the power and all the tools in yourself. We just need to rediscover them and implement them in our lives. So in the Emotional Freedom Community, we offer you to join us one time per week, where we teach you things and we give you things that you can implement in your own life in a digestible manner, like not too overwhelming. And we also offer private sessions and packages where we work one-on-one with those who would like to have more individual support, and where we look at what do you need, what do you want to change, what do you want to accomplish, what is your issue, what is your feeling. Because if you come to us and you say, I'm feeling like this, then we can help you navigate how to become emotionally free from whatever it is you are experiencing. So there's many different ways of navigating that. So then in those packages, we custom make your journey and the tools that you need to move forward.
And you're also welcome to Thailand if you want to come and
Yeah.
stay at our retreat center. And we have weekly classes twice a day for everyone staying here, and then we can add one-on-one sessions on top of that. And we have a lot of courses and resources. So it's a nice space if you really want to deep dive and focus on whatever aspect in life that you want to work on or improve, or just gear down if there's been a lot of stress in your life, or there's something you want to work through physically, mentally, and emotional. This is definitely a space where we can do so.
Yeah, here at the farm, we have created our own little paradise that is like completely designed for personal growth. And this is where we live and breathe and work with all the things that we do. So this is where we embody the emotional freedom. And the people that come here, they come with their own things, and they leave that behind. They have the opportunity to, it's very difficult to explain exactly what it is that actually happens here. So sometimes it can be, you can look at some of the reviews maybe that comes from people stayed from the farm, but it's a truly magical place. And if you are ready to let go and learn, then big things can happen when you come here. And we are so happy to share the lifestyle and the magic here. That and you can also do intensive retreats online. We have that option. That is more like an exclusive option that we offer to only one person per month. But then we really deep dive, and we transform your life where you are at in your own home with your lifestyle. And also coming is the Living with the Spirit Academy, where we will teach you how to teach others how to heal themselves and how to be to reach emotional freedom. That is a little bit further in the future, but that is what we are steadily aiming for.
Essentially becoming a practitioner, so you can have classes and work with people similar to what we do, or the same way we do, like using same tools and resources, and just share the knowledge, because we're two people and we want to be able to spread it so we can help as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's the purpose. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can either email me at sarah@livingwiththespirit.com, or you can book a free consultation with me. You can do that from the website, and you find all other information also on the website livingwiththespirit.com. And with that, we say thank you for today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for listening. And we wish you a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.